Asher Face, June and July 5v5 season group stages. My name is Peter Wesker Biscuit Hartnell. I'll be your play-by-play commentator this evening, and I'm joined by Pete Johnston, who will be providing the colour commentary during this match.
Yeah, welcome to this match between UK Underdogs on blue side, who are sit in Group B, sitting at the top, 3 wins to 0 losses, against UK All-Stars on the red side, who are currently at 1-0-1. So, as you may or may not know, to progress out of this group into the final stages, only the top 2 teams from the group progress. So, All-Stars or Underdogs look like they're set to progress whether they win or lose today, but All-Stars have to win today if they have any chance of progressing. So interesting to see. Already the bans have come out, Rengar, Cho'Gath and Diana on blue side. We kind of expected this. Ryan is a very good Rengar. Ballback pretty much exclusively plays Cho'Gath as well so far in the tournament and as well in solo queue. So very targeted bans there. And finally Diana at target at Fawzi. Whereas on the flip side, we've got Callista banned against Nathan, Thresh banned against I'm a Hooker, who's a very prolific Thresh player, and Nautilus also banned out. So 3 bans targeted at the main side. And we can see here, Pete, that finally Varus is the first pick for the Underdogs.
Well, okay, that's an interesting pick. First pick to go in there. What kind of team do you think could be built around Varus?
It's going to be a poke composition, a poke and siege. So they're going to look, again, the Nidalee, if picked in, would complement that, but be able to put down a lot of poke and force champions off of towers and objectives and then take it. So look for some strong disengage and potentially engage and disengage as well, as we see the Allstars coming in for the disengage and the ability to dive under turrets with that damage reduction, and the Scion as well, which is a staple for Henry in this tournament. It's 3 for 3 that I've seen him on it, so definitely a comfort pick for him there. And on the flip side, we've seen Sivir come in for War Machine, which he's seen some success on earlier in the tournament, and also Amumu coming in as a first for Ryan. So in response to the Rengar ban there, maybe his jungle pool is a little bit threatened.
Well, okay, so what kind of team do you expect to see come out from the UK All-Stars, given what we've got locked in so far?
Um, we're going to have to wait and see what's coming in the top lane. It would be a new one to see Bobag on that Rumble instead of the Cho'Gath. But with the Severe in there and with the Amumu, it's very going to be much an engaged comp. They're going to want to run you down, catch you in bad positions and pick you off and then rotate objectives. And we do see the Rumble and the Vel'Koz picked in there, so a very AP reliant team, but also got a very good mid and early and mid game power spike. So they should get ahead of this Varus and, if picked, the Ezreal as well. Now, I think we're going to see this Varus potentially go in the ADC position, and we're going to see Shami pick up this Ezreal in the mid. And we do already see a smite on Shami there, so has the potential to go in for that somewhat cheesy Runeglaive build, which gives the Sheen proc jungle item onto Ezreal there in the mid lane. So, any comments on that, Pete?
Well, I mean, I haven't seen too many of the Ezreals making use of the Runeglaive. It does seem to make sense, but I mean, having not seen it, I don't know for certain, but isn't that going to give him quite a big sort of disadvantage early on as he builds those jungle items?
It'd be interesting to see how he goes about it. In one of the games we commented on recently, it was built Sheen first and then straight into the Rangers upgrade. So it did delay the rest of his build and took him a while to come online. So we'll have to see the rest of this team here as well. They're all built around long range pokes, so he's not going to need to be in the front lines taking damage. So taking a little longer to scale up is okay if you've got a Nidalee and a Varus putting down consistent poke. Um, Looking at the 2 teams, it's going to be interesting. There's some really great skirmishing power with the Scion and the Alistair over on the Underdogs, and backed up by all that poke, as I said. Whereas meanwhile, if you get a Severe on the hunt into a Amumu ultimate or into a Equalizer from Rumble with the Vowsy's area of effect, there's a lot of area effect magic damage on red team. A lot of magic damage, full stop, really, with Severe not being a very high AD output champion. So it'll be interesting to see if Underdogs on the blue team are able to itemize that magic damage out a little bit. But red team very much want to chase you down, CC you, and kill you quickly before you're able to respond.
Do you think it's going to be an issue for the All Stars bottom lane that the I'm a Hooker's Alistair is going to be able to get out of that stun, or do you think they're going to try and focus it onto Nathan?
With once pre-6, they may try and wish to poke the Alistair back and make sure he's not allowed to play aggressive. But the Varus is a mobile, so he's naturally always going to be the focus for those guys. One important point on blue team, I think, is that there's not an awful lot of wave clear outside of Varus and Ez, which have okay but not outstanding wave clear. Nidalee's isn't great unless she goes into Cougar form. Henry's is bad, and there's a lot of wave clear on red teams, so we may see the All-Stars pushing the Underdogs under their own turrets and then using all of those dive tools that they have at their disposal to dive and get the kills and secure objectives and take a lead that way. Coming out of the picks and bans, it's difficult to say. I favor Underdogs generally because I think they're a strong team, but it's a very good draft phase from red team, the All-Stars, and I think if it's played right, they have the potential to snowball this game and take it out of red's hands.
Mm. I really, yes, it's, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what's going to happen when the team fights break out. It seems like the All Stars have got a very strong, as you said, the AoE is pretty nuts off of them if they can combo together the various skills. Though I kind of feel like maybe Vel'Koz isn't being not the most mobile of champions, might have a little bit of trouble keeping up with everybody else. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that Shami is going to give Vauzi on the Vel'Koz a very hard time in mid, in the laning phase. Because as you said, Vel'Koz is a mobile and his skills are somewhat telegraphed as well. So Ezreal with high mobility is going to be able to kite around him and just land a lot of sustained damage. If he does build a Sheen and he's spamming spells and then getting empowered auto attacks after that, he'll have a lot of kill potential on him. So I'm very interested to see how Shami builds this jungle upgrade, because on the one hand, you could make an argument for taking Chilling Smite and getting the slow, or definitely Skirmisher's Blade Saber and getting that damage reduction so that you can one-on-one people. But what we've seen sometimes is people will take Rangers so that they can get. You're always fighting around minions or monsters pretty much, so you can get an instant bit of health back by smiting nearby minions. And sustain through a one-on-one fight, which is a bit of a dirty trick, but it has been effective. So,
Oh,
how?
Pete, I would check. I would check your OBS. I think it's just going up as a black screen currently.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm doing a bit of fiddling with OBS before it started. It may have caused a bit of a problem there.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I should have kept an eye on that too, huh?
That's right. Well, we've only got 30 seconds before we do get into the loading screen. Between these two teams, early on, do you think a particular team has an advantage?
I think that. Give me 1 second. I'll just pick this up. Ha ha ha! Look at that.
Sorry, I'll talk while you sort that one out.
Yeah, thanks, man.
But yes, I'm interested to see how well the Underdogs do as far as being able to keep All Stars out of range. I mean, they've got the tools to do it: the Decimating Smash on Sion, the Pulverize on Alistair. Well, that's an interesting effect on the stream. So they have got some tools to be able to keep away. They seem to be more on a case-by-case basis as to whether or not that's going to turn into, a neutralization of the All Stars plan. I don't know. I'll be interested to see how it works out. I guess at this point, we can just switch to the in-game and just forget about all that.
I completely blame you, Pete, because about 10 minutes before the stream you said, here, install this thing and completely overwrite all of your settings. Oh, it doesn't work. Thanks very much.
Yes, I'm afraid I am to blame. I've, much like Icarus, flown too close to the sun and ruined everything, but hopefully we should be able to at least see the in-game itself. Which is loading in now, so it can't be too far off from actually getting into the game itself. So yes, as we mentioned before, the All Stars having everything to play for in this particular game. Underdogs sitting pretty comfortably at the top of the group. If the All Stars do not win this match, their chances of being able to progress further in the tournament are pretty much shot. So they, even though they haven't been doing, hasn't been as dominating as the Underdogs have been, they're certainly pretty darn motivated going into this match.
Yeah, I think
there we go. We are back with the screen. I do apologise for that. It is entirely my fault.
Not at all, not at all. I do think it's quite ironic that in this case it's the All Stars who are the underdogs and who very much have to perform to progress in a tournament. I think we have seen as well before from underdogs where they take a lead that sometimes they can get a little bit complacent, lose their focus and chase kills rather than chasing the objectives and finishing the game. So if All-Stars are able to take advantage of any bad positioning or complacency by the underdogs, they may be able to get an early advantage and snowball that into a win.
Yeah, it's a very distinct possibility. What I'm hoping to see from the All-Stars is a very strong start to kind of try and set the tone for the game. I feel like if the underdogs are able to set the pace of the game, given that they are, the team which people are kind of more expecting to win, that will potentially turn into just the flavor of the whole game.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do see a bit of a level 1 strat here as underdogs are moving straight into the red side jungle. They've actually got a flanking position up on Rumble, getting some initial vision down, but it looks like they want more than that. So maybe getting deep wards to check for a lane swap, or maybe trying to get a pick on Rumble. And they're coming around back of him now, so he'll have to be very careful. The rest of his team are on the other side of the map, and they're not doing much. So we do see all the wards coming down. Complete control of that red side jungle going over to underdogs early in the game, and still the potential to catch out this Rumble. They may have seen that flame spitter.
Oh, Bullbag in so much trouble. It has spotted the blue team are collapsing around him. Bullbag in so much trouble. First blood goes across, really nicely done. First blood going across to Henry, and that's going to make a big difference going into this first lane as they take control of the red buff.
Yeah, he sat there completely unawares as the entire blue team rotated 360 degrees around his position and finally collapsed in a Russian-esque pincer movement. But beautiful play there by blue team to take the advantage early. So first blood on the board, it goes over to Henry in the top lane, which is going to make him pretty much impossible to move out of that lane unless he wants to.
Well, what do you think we're going to see from Henry? I mean, he's got the lion's share of the gold on that, from this early advantage. What kind of item would you expect to see him pick up early on?
If he's able to get some magic resistance early and reduce the effect of Rumble's spells, then Rumble won't be able to bully him off of the farm and will have a very hard time CSing up against the kit that Scion has, which is just designed to keep people off farm, really. With the Roar of the Slayer, pushing minions around, with that huge area of effect knock-up, it's going to be a tough time for Rumble now.
Well, it's interesting to note that Henry hasn't gone back and taken advantage of that gold, so it's still sitting in his pocket for now. And Bullbag, even having given across that early kill, isn't as far behind as you might expect.
Yeah, Henry only sitting on 600, so could have potentially gotten a small cloak or some more pots and sustain, but then would have had to teleport up and would have allowed Rumble to get some extra CS and experience, so went directly to lane to make sure that they stay on parity with each other.
Right, well, let's take a quick look around. It's proving actually pretty hard for Nathan in the bottom lane. It's dropping a lot of CS compared to War Machine. I'm not... I didn't even notice. They're actually seeing I'm a Hooker up in the top, looking for a gank, along with the Monk. Really, it's super effective. The knockups are there. Hooker is on to get the kill. But I don't know, how much are they giving up in this bottom lane to just not have the support there and provide more gank assistance?
I think that Nathan is out of his comfort zone anyway on this Varus rather than on a Callista, so it wouldn't have been a very strong lane with the ranged Annie and Severe up against the melee Allstars. So instead of suffering on with a disadvantage there.
We're not done yet. There's still more aggression coming out from Underdogs, chasing Ryan underneath the turret. Ozzy does his best to keep his buddy alive. And wow, such aggression from Underdogs early on.
Yeah, 2 kills to 0 though, and they've already got a almost 1k gold advantage, so it's showing through. Sure, Nathan is losing a lot of farm, takes a stun under the turret, goes quite low, but he's managing to get CS and experience, so meanwhile, things are snowballing across the rest of the map.
I mean, that is a pretty big CS advantage for War Machine. Though I suppose the experience is going to be going across to Nathan because of it being a solo lane. Not actually a stun out there. I'm quite surprised by that. In the top lane, who are you favouring?
Oh, very much Henry now. I mean, he's had 2 ganks pretty much, and
the flash comes in. Nathan being taken very low. The last hit goes across the Lego Noodle, and that's a kill on the board for the All-Stars.
Yeah, the flash stun ignite followed by a couple of autos. Shame that it didn't go to War Machine on the Severe. Lego Noodle secured it instead, but still good to get some wins on the board for red team because, like I said, top lane was going very poorly, so they're able to balance out the pressure a little bit. Now it'll be up to Monk on this Nidalee to come and even that out and make sure that blue stay ahead.
Well, it's interesting to see Hooker is back in lane by himself, I guess trying to take advantage of that experience before it all gets taken by the turret. It doesn't look like the Allstars have really managed to poke him down too severely though, so I was kind of looking at maybe they'd be able to keep this being a one-on-two situation for as long as possible. But we are seeing Hooker coming around the back here. Could they potentially be going for some kind of like aggression? Yeah, looks like it. Oh, Lego Noodle getting knocked around, arrows to the face. The heal has to be burnt. Exhaust being dropped onto Lego Noodle. Hooker presumably going to try to get some more aggression in, but it's not quite there.
Yeah, a really great initiative by Hooker there to spot that Noodle and War Machine had overstayed in that lane, allowed Varus to come back very strong. Noodle was weak, low on mana and health, so they took advantage and forced some summoners, but spent some as well without any kills. So, and still, look, it was a massive 20 CS advantage. Now it's evening out a little bit, but Severe is a notorious bully in the bot lane, and she's got a CS and experience advantage. So it's going to be a tough time for Varus to do anything but farm down there. We may see Henry using his teleport to try and get a gank and even out the pressure across the map. We haven't seen a lot from Monk, and beside that. Second visit back up to Ballbag, the repeat gank up the top. There hasn't been much action from as he farms away. And on the other side, Amumu, we've seen virtually no lane presence except getting forced out by his own Raptors early. So it's all been individual plays in the lanes.
Oh, Shami is being aggressed on it, trying to reply back with a true shot barrage. And it's kind of, in the middle lane, it's been pretty uneven.
Yeah, handbags at dawn maybe. They both popped their ultimates there. I think great timing by Vozi. Shami didn't quite respect.
Lego Noodle being aggressed on the bottom lane. Multiple skill shots come across. Lego does get the stun off, but is it enough? There's no heal this time. War Machine being pushed out. Nidalee continuing to aggress, but doesn't have the support of Nathan quite yet.
There's that jungle pressure we talked about to neutralize out the advantage that Sivir had. And now with that kill going across onto Nathan, Varus is going to get a little bit stronger. Looks like he's building red rather than blue, so will come online earlier, but peak earlier as well. But good pressure down the bot line to make sure that War Machine is able to get out of there. Now possible gank from Mima Hooker, who doesn't have his ultimate and damage reduction yet, but still has a lot of CC.
Right, the spell shield has been dropped and avoided. I don't know. I mean, it certainly has made sure that War Machine has to be a lot more careful as he comes back into lane. Doesn't actually have his support with him. So it's a 3-on-1 situation in the bottom lane. Could we see an early turret getting picked up for the Underdogs?
Yeah, I think so. And look at what happened here, because 5 or not even 3 minutes ago, that Severe was up 20 CS almost on this Varus. Now Varus is up on CS. He's got a kill where Severe only has an assist, and he'll look to have a much better back timing. So some really great teamwork by Underdogs to pull together and crush that Severe a little bit and get that turret, get that lane turned around it. Because across the rest of the map they seem to be winning. Even with Vozi getting an initiative with that level 6 gank, he wasn't able to kill Shami, and that's going to be a big deal as the game progresses. Because as Shami gets his, he's finished his Sheen and he's going to be going into the Runeglaive soon, he's going to be an absolute terror with those auto attack magic damage procs. So yeah, and look at top lane, sure, isn't Henry only proxy farming between the turrets because he's so far ahead of this Rumble, the so-called lane bully, and that early assistance has just put him so far ahead, he doesn't need any more attention now. And it's surprising we haven't seen Ryan come up there and try and even things out. Ryan's down for a lane gank in bot now, but there's nobody there to gank, so a little bit of unfortunate timing, and he's going to waste more time. Even with Nidalee getting to the lanes and doing some of the ganking, she's still up on CS, and of course has the assist advantage as well, so she's already completed her Sheen. She's going to Runeglaive too, which means it's going to be a great...
Oh, Vozi could be in trouble in the middle lane as well, getting knocked up. Tower is there. True Shot Barrage comes out and does not connect though.
Nice dodge by Vozi. There's going to be a great power spike come online from the Underdogs now. When they both get their Runeglaives, they're going to be able to engage and do tremendous damage. We saw the ult go down in the mid from Vozi as well, but it looks like Shami's getting out on 100 health or so. I mean, we'll have more handbags down bot lane as how long has Ryan been sitting in that bush? A minute and a half?
Well, it's not just bot lane, it's Hooker going in hard underneath the tower and gets actually picked up by Vozi, getting them up to the second kill, but they're not done yet. Monk comes in. Can the Flash gets him away safely. In the bottom lane though, Flash is again being brought up. And we do see a nice ult from Amumu, secures the kill there. War Machine takes a decimating smash on the spell shield, And I wouldn't count out the All-Stars yet.
No, and I gotta say for Ryan, he waited a long time, but when the time came, he got the gank and he got the kill. They're gonna get the turret too. TP was very late by Henry, and there's nothing he can do here, so that's summoner wasted.
Oh wow, he is going ham. Unstoppable Onslaught comes out. Very, very short one gets cancelled out. Here come the remainders of the blue team. Teleport coming in to try and help out War Machine, who's on very low health. Noodle getting absolutely slapped around the place. Ballbag comes in, teleports in on very, very minimal health. I don't know if this is going to work out particularly well for him. Does pick up Bronze Monk. Has to flash away from the decimating smash, and ultimately, it didn't work out tremendously for the All-Stars.
No, it didn't. They had a clear advantage, and that turned into a very muddy advantage. Now it's sitting 6 kills to 4. There's about a 1k gold advantage for Underdogs. Turrets, they're down 1, but the potential, they have the map presence now, whereas Red were all forced to back. Blue are still out, and they can choose what objective they want to take. But across the board, still at 20 CS, despite the early TP and a bit extra farming from Rumble. 20 CS advantage in the top lane. He's got his cowl and he's got a Negatron cloak. Looks like he's building into a Spirit Visage early. And it just means he's going to be very hard for Rumble to deal with, even though he's sitting on top of the Haunting guys, and looks like he's working towards, simultaneously going towards his Sork Boots and his Zonya's Hourglass.
Oh, here we go. Hooker is being aggressed onto. It's going to try and walk away from this one. And I don't know if this is maybe... Oh, wow! Shammy getting taken very, very low.
Forces the flash.
As we do see All-Stars making their presence felt in the middle lane.
Yeah, I think the Underdogs need to try and position better for fights. They're coming in from flanks altogether. One person is taking a lot of focus and then it's switching. So this poke composition is getting very low and they're not able to safely poke. And you now see that wave clear from Allstars.
Oh, the aggression comes back in. Bronze Monk comes out, takes out War Machine. Ryan is the front line for this fight and gets absolutely annihilated. Red team are getting torn to pieces in the middle lane. And, I mean, well, can Underdogs take advantage?
Yeah, beautiful work by Shami. He's sitting on 105, so he's got a very high kill participation, and he's starting to come online. He's completed his Runegrave, as had Nidalee, so they've found their power spike and they're ready to fight at it. Red just gave him a beautiful opportunity.
Oh man, Ballsy overstaying in the bottom lane. I think maybe just not quite taking account of how much damage there is on the Underdogs team and how much poke. I mean, that's what you said before. Their ability to poke is crazy.
Yeah, so they'll set up, get vision on you, and then reduce your carry's health to so low that you can't stay and fight for objectives. You back, and then they take whatever they want from the map. In this case, they get a mid, outer, and a Drake for free. So very well played by Underdogs. Hooker maybe caught here. I think he is in trouble.
He is in trouble. The Ignite is being dropped down. Hooker's very, very low. Is he going to be able to get away? No, Ryan is the one to take the kill. True Shot Barrage comes across to try and provide some assistance, but it's way too late. As he looks to be set up for another fight in the middle lane.
I think his support for Drake is a good trade, you know. And his ult was down, so he didn't.
Oh, Shammy has been caught here. Here comes the Equalizer, absolutely blown up. Lego Noodle wants to take the kill. Nathan is having a bit of trouble in getting away from his opponents here. We're waiting on skill shots to come up. Can Nathan make his way to the vision blocking bush? I don't think he's got anywhere to go. And another nice kill picked up by the All-Stars. Every time we think that the All-Stars are out of this, they keep coming back with some really surprising team fights.
Yeah, it's this engaged pick versus the comp pick. It's almost a natural counter pick, depending on which team has the momentum to keep pushing, the health bars and the resources. In that case, a beautiful combination of Curse of the Sad Mummy into Equalizer down on top of Shami, just instantly burst him out. He had no chance to use any mobility, and they're able to take a turret back. They're still down to Drake, they're down 2 kills, and it's now a 3k gold advantage for Underdogs. So despite a little bit of a return there, they still have an advantage over this game, and I think they're in control of it. And look in the top lane, you see Henry pushing into the inner turret. He's had all this free time while all the shenanigans are happening in mid lane. He's like, okay, I'll just take objectives, thanks very much. And he's got about half health down on that inner turret. So yeah, good control, good map control and pressure here from Underdogs is giving them all of the advantages as they start to strangle All-Stars out of all of their own resources, so that they get richer and richer. And I think we can see the game starting to snowball towards a conclusion now.
Well, we're talking earlier about the Runeglaive pickup, which has, as it turned out, be turned into a Stalker's Blade. So presumably we're seeing more of an emphasis on Shami. Oh, here we go. The fight has started yet again. It takes a lot of damage, but it's frontlining pretty darn well. That damage reduction is pretty crazy. And we got lasers being fired down this very restricted pathway. This is an environment which you would think would favour the All-Stars. They come in. War Machine takes out Shami. Henry goes down as well. The kills now have been evened up. Henry's coming back. No, with his passive, managed to pick up Vowsy. I think Vowsy must have just forgotten that was even a thing. Ryan has been knocked around and picked up quite happily by Nathan. But still, a Warbag does pick up I'm a Hooker. But at the same time, isn't able to deny the damage. War Machine, so low. Nice stun coming out from Lego Noodle, but he has no mana left whatsoever. Yeah. He's going to fall down, and that's going to be an ace going across to the Underdogs.
An ace for 3. Some comments on that fight. Blue were sloppy initially, and they followed All-Stars back into a choke point, and you saw an absolutely outstanding equalizer from Bobag. It was inspired, and of course you had the ultimate from Bamsey, some really great area effect damage, but just at that point, being 3 gold behind, they didn't have quite enough to wipe out Blue. And in the end, in the one-on-one fights and the skirmishes, Blue were just better champions, and to a degree better players here as well, because getting an advantage when they were initially behind in that fight. So well played by both sides, but Blue's lead is now stretched out to 5.5k. You know, they're pushing down inner turrets across the map. They've got good vision control for when Drake comes back up. So I think Blue are looking for Red to make a mistake. Sorry, excuse me, All-Stars in Red are waiting for Underdogs in Blue to make a mistake and to punish that and take objectives, because that seems to be the only way they can do it. They're not winning these straight up team fights here. So maybe if they're able to pick off an Allstar in the top, or Sion, or maybe if an On the Hunt into an Annie stun can pick up Shami or maybe Nathan, then they can push an objective. But all things being even, Blue are very much in control of the game.
What's been going wrong for the All-Stars in this game, and what can they be doing? What can they change to try and alter the course of this match?
Well, if you want to see where things started to go wrong, you'd probably look at not getting any vision down in the red side jungle at the level 1 invade, and just being totally outflanked by the enemy team. No communication as well between All-Stars to potentially back him up. And then after that, a very good repeat but gank. We didn't see much influence from Ryan early to help get his lanes ahead, and even Severe lane, which was ahead by itself early because of intervention from Monk on the Underdogs, was able to turn it around. If it had been the opposite and Ryan had come early to snowball that advantage, maybe Severe would be crushing everybody in these team fights. But just in every lane, All-Stars got behind, and now it's telling in the team fights. And they're just being starved of resources, so every minute that goes by and every camp taken...
Oh, here we go, the engage has come onto Monk. A nice stun there. Lego Noodle is the one being focused underneath the tower. Nathan picking up a very cheeky kill on the outside. The red team getting absolutely poked to death. Shami picks up War Machine on the side, and we're seeing the All-Stars in full retreat here. Double kill came across the Shami, and we're seeing Unstoppable Onslaught right into the All-Stars base.
He's kind of trapped now too, huh? But yeah, it's the caster curse, the first time we've seen Bob whiff a Rumble ulti, but he totally did. And again, Blue just positioned and jockeyed around until they could get the fight they wanted. Then they took the picks, and once they had a couple of picks, Red just had to run. But overall, a couple of Red blinky health bars on Underdog's side, but take the inner turret and get some kills. And now pushing bot inner as well, so all the advantage in the world. And they're now up almost 9k gold, so I think things are getting a bit crazy here. And unless Underdogs want to style it and get a bit greedy, then this game could be ended very quickly.
Well, I mean, this is exactly the kind of game that the All-Stars are presumably hoping to avoid. I'm just trying to figure out the way which they come back into this. I mean, it seems like in theory they should be able to, force maybe these. Well, is it the vision that they need to get down? They can pick and choose their fights.
It's none of those things. They're in big trouble because their composition doesn't scale well, not nearly as well as Underdogs do. So even if they just stall out and go even for the next 10 minutes, Underdogs still get stronger. So.
Oh, well, we do see the All-Stars picking up a dragon, but the fight has been broken out. Equalizer comes down, War Machine taken very low, is managing to pull out, but Vozy is going to get picked up, and again we're seeing the All-Stars absolutely ripped to pieces. I can't think this was at all worthwhile. Triple kill going across the Bronzy Monk, and Could this be the end of the game as another ace going out in favor of the underdogs?
Probably not the end of the game with the short death timers, but most certainly an inhibitor turret and probably an inhibitor. I think they did get a Drake, but they were allowed to have it because 20 minutes into the game, one team is in total control of the map and they only have one Drake. It's clearly not a win condition for them. So they're happy to let him take the Drake and then get a perfect fight, wipe him out, take out this inhibitor turret, and with their strength, most certainly take out the inhibitor as well.
Do you think maybe should we have seen the All-Stars trying to get a fight at the Dragon under their terms in terms of waiting for the underdogs to go for it and then engaging on them?
If you were looking for an ideal situation there, then perhaps the underdogs tried to do the dragon themselves and took a certain amount of damage, and you caught them while they were doing that with their area of effect. You got a 3 or 4 man Curse of the Sad Mummy into a beautiful equalizer into a Tibbers or something like that, then they could potentially wombo out a couple of the carries and turn the fight. But even if they did, look at the side lanes. Where's the pressure? It would take them another 40 seconds to bring a wave to a turret and take it. So even if they do win a team fight, it's going to be very difficult for Allstars to convert that into an objective at this stage.
Oh, well, there we go. The flash. They go going trying to get the stuns. Unfortunately, Ryan can't quite connect with the bandage toss. And it's a disappointed All-Stars who are going to be engaged on themselves. Here comes the unstoppable onslaught, riding right for the team fight. Curse of Savami comes down. Shami is being burned, but manages gets picked up as he comes across all right into the Velcars. War Machine is going to have to try and fend for themselves for the moment, being knocked back into the remainder of the underdogs. And oh, Nathan's so close to dead, but Vowsy, more or less immobile, and really nicely played there. As complete control exerted, Vorzy has nowhere to go at all. I think Nathan is just teasing Vorzy.
Oh.
No, he actually got the kill!
Yeah, well, while all of this was going down, what seemed to be a close fight was actually a 5-on-4 because Monk has been pushing down the mid lane and he's got super minions onto the Nexus turrets at 21 minutes. So another great fight. They're going to take a bot inner for it and even increase the gold advantage a bit more. I think now they should look to base after this, turn their gold advantage, which is crazy across the board. We see Monk sitting on 2k, turn all of that into item advantages, take a Drake, and then just go and finish the game, because the longer they leave it, the more chance that they'll make a critical mistake and throw the game.
Well, here we go. Speaking of mistakes, War Machine is getting really control. A nice use of the spell shield to try and stay alive for a moment longer, but those decimating smashes come out so fast. They are aggressing onto Henry. Again, this is what we were talking about before the game started. The control offered by Alistair and San being used really, really well. And here comes Shami coming in from the side, picking up ball bag as Hooker just walks away from that fight. Another kill going to Shami, and I have to think at this point, the underdogs are just enjoying themselves, which, as we said before, may potentially give a small window for the All-Stars, but it's such a small window.
Yeah, I don't think so. They've played a very controlled mid and early game. They've had controlled aggression and it's come out to their advantage, but now the advantage is so great. 15,000 gold, 18 kills up, 6 turrets to 2. They're so far ahead that they'd have to make a series of mistakes for All-Stars to get back in. But you know, there is always a chance for it to happen, and there is a lot of area of effect damage on All-Stars, and you do see the Ludens and the Haunting guys completed onto Vel'Koz. It's interesting build,
Oh
actually.
no, Lego Noodle in so much trouble! It's absolutely dominated by Bronzy and Mug. Well, we were talking about this earlier. The All-Stars are a team which you can stack the magic resist against, and that's certainly what Henry has done here. A huge amount of magic resist, and of course, a ZZ Rock Portal. I don't know how to pronounce it. Does anyone know how to pronounce that?
Yeah, I think a ZZ Raw Portal's okay. I like ZZ Top, right?
Yeah, it's like a ZZ Top Portal. It's a top hat.
Yeah, so he's content to push out that top lane. The itemization, of course.
There's a surrender. So thus ends the hope of the All-Stars. Underdogs proving themselves very dominant in this game.
Yes, so that's it. Underdogs will progress to the next level and next stage, and congratulations to them. A very well played game. They all seem to be in control of it, on top of a well played group stages. So 31 kills to 12. A very strong performance by Underdogs. And I think All-Stars did represent well. I think their composition may have let them down a little bit, and some of the picks and the bans particularly were targeted at them, hurt their champion pool a little bit, but in the end it was all about the Underdogs. And if you had to pick a man of the match in this case, who do you think it would be on the Underdogs?
That's kind of tricky. I mean, looking at the stats, it's certainly Nathan's got the most kills on the team. Trying to figure out if he's the most important one. I
Yeah,
kind of feel like maybe it was Monk who caused a lot of these situations to play out the way they did. No, what do you think, Nick?
yeah, that all looks like it's right on paper, but there's one stat that isn't in there, and it's kind of like pressure and playmaking. And a couple of times in the early game, particularly in the bot lane, which wasn't going well, we saw I'm a hooker position and
Mm.
skirmish really effectively, and managed to turn that lane around. And in doing that, he opened up the game for the rest of the underdogs. So if I was to pick an MVP, I think I would have to go I'm a hooker. Looking at his kill participation, he participated in 24 out of 31 kills. So he's up in the 70, 80% kill participation range. And although low on kills, I'd say he's my MVP. What do you reckon, Pete?
Yeah, I think I can go with that. I mean, I actually just thinking about it, I didn't even remember I'm a Hooker was actually the one to get the one of the initial ganks off in that game.
Yeah.
So
Um,
yes, I think you're right. I think it's pretty close between a lot of members of the underdogs, but I think you're right that I'm a Hooker probably edges it out slightly.
Okay, excellent. And with that, that's the end of the game. That's the end of the cast. There will be more games in future. If you're looking for information on it, then you need to be on the COF Facebook group. There's also a website up. We'll post links to it in a minute. But thanks very much for watching, and keep a follow on this. Also check out my YouTube stream for Pete Johnstone to see any of the other games. And thanks very much. And a final word from you, Pete.
Yep, I've been Pete of Weskaviskip Hartnell. But thank you very much to my co-commentators and for the Clash of Fates guys for giving us the opportunity to cast one of these very entertaining games. So keep an eye out. I'm sure we'll be doing some more in the future.